Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of SMC Comcast Quest and Connect. I am Catherine, faculty from the Department of Commerce Shift 2, Stella Morris College. And with me today, we have a very special guest, Professor Sridhar Narayanan. He is a strategy advisor, a facilitator of global education, visiting faculty at B schools, and an expert in strategy, consulting, HR, and sales management. He is highly networked with industrialists, policymakers, academicians, and media personnel. His experience spans pharma, FMCG, lubricants, BFSI, and education sector. His passion lies in coaching and mentoring students, and in those lines, he is also a founder of GAME, Grand Alliance for Management Excellence, with a mission to provide world class education at an affordable cost. That being said, let's get started with the second episode of SMC Comcast Quest and Connect. Welcome, sir, and thanks for joining us today.
Pleasure is mine. Thanks for the opportunity given.
Uh, I would like to begin the podcast by asking you about your recent venture. What is GAME and what motivated you to start GAME?
World class education at affordable cost. That is the purpose of in which we have started game. Anywhere, anybody, that too in the tier 2, tier 3 cities should get benefited of world class education when you can have the world in the mobile in your hand. But still, many are not aware of the opportunities, and we want to be a facilitator to be create the awareness and make the students to join the race. That is the purpose of game. And give it at an affordable cost. When technology enables you to give it at an affordable cost, why shouldn't we do that? And everybody should be, the education should be available to all. That is one of the critical components of our constitution also, if you look in. And so in that angle, the purpose is to the partners in progress in game and the faculty, the corporate experts who are across the globe want to give back to the society, and game is going to be just a facilitator or a platform or a conduit for that, if you ask me.
Yes. I think while time in the classroom is invaluable, having access or exposed to research and industry experience would groom them and broaden their minds for sure. So, yeah. And also, could you explain in what ways does the organization add value to the field of
As I
education?
told you, in the purpose of the game is to bring at world class education. For example, if you take a lot of students in the management side, they miss out on the opportunity. They have to compete with GMAT or CAT or all the best of the B school competitive exams, and somehow they don't take it seriously and they miss out on the opportunity. And they have to again prepare for a year or two and then scale up. But why should somebody miss out on that opportunity? So we thought we will identify bright students who have missed out on the opportunity. That is the one first thing. And bright students who are not aware of the competitive exams and who have missed out on the opportunity, will identify them and then groom them to be the students, management students in the future. That is the way which we have gone out. And if you look at the vision of our organization, be a solution provider for the business to achieve their goals and be a partner in the progress. In this angle, if you look in, uh, be a solution provider for the student. If you take business as a word, it's not only for the business. Business, if you replace it with a student or a faculty or something, we want to be a fine tune their activity, work towards their strengths, and make them to achieve more. That is the overall objective of game.
I think that's something students have to look out for. And as you were sharing about game, it also triggers another question to me. The initiative requires many resource people. And when I looked at the website, it was impressive to see the list of subject matter experts you have pulled in for this initiative. So, how challenging was it to network or connect with so many resource
See,
people?
those people are just come in a day. This network of people or the platform which we have brought all these people goes back to the relationship for last 20 years plus. and it is the nurtured relationship. And if you ask me, if the intent is good, the world converges to support you for towards that good intent. And in that angle, I've been in corporate world for say 20, 18 plus years, and then academic for 8 plus years. And that network is net worth according to me. Might be that is the reason which I think I might be writing a book later on this, because everybody is saying about it. So network is your net worth, and money will come and go, but relationship matters a lot, and that too in this world when it is going to be fast paced and well networked, and the more you are connected, you will have the team to support you. And it is all like few reference. And now it is, now if you see the intent, when I told you, people are joining or coming in and say, hey, I'm ready to support you, I'm ready to do this, are you willing? And when somebody is coming and asking, why should we say no? You take it up. And as I told you, you're a facilitator. So if you have to tell you, can game be a uberization of management education, can we get into it? There's a big opportunity I see. And so will be a platform, and good platforms attract good people, if I have to tell you. Yeah. If I have to go back to my 93 or 96. I'm a student, alumni of Loyola, as you know. And at that time, I was brought up in Chennai or so metros or Bangalore or this thing. But many students, I'm not sure how is the stature now, but many students at that time had the difficulty to communicate or something. So I was a guy who used to mix with everybody, not only the bright ones or the ordinary ones, or usually there'll be groups which forms, but I was a guy who used to mingle with each and everybody in the class, and still that relationship continues. And there my support started from that time. To support a person who has come from a tier 2 city, who is not willing to move out, or who is a introvert, and I started supporting them, and I also learned it. Like for example, one of the things I took up is public speaking and group discussion as elective, which paved way for many places to for me to speak. In that angle, I found out that people are listening to me when I started telling them the inputs. And after I went into the corporate career also, all along I've been a trainer or a part of the training or a HR team to do any intervention or something as a person from the business side. And it has been my mind to support anybody and guide and mentor. Because if the profs or the teachers have not guided me, I could not have come to this level. I have not achieved anything at all. I'm just starting now for information. As an entrepreneur, might be in the corporate world to a certain extent, very limited extent, I would have grown, but there's miles to go. There's no doubt in that. But at least the guidance has given me a confidence to start like something like this. And in that angle, set the vision of a student. If you ask me, wherever I go, let it be a corporate team or a college or wherever I worked earlier, or whenever I go for guest lectures, which I've been doing from 96, not now. It was at a small minuscule school when I did it in 96, but now it is across the forums, across the globe when I'm speaking now. So the number of people has moved, but one thing remains is how to set the tone of a vision for a student or a person or an employee, and whether he is aware of his vision, or whether he is working towards his vision, and whether he is implementing the plan that has been needed for. If you do these three things, wherever you do, whatever you do,
Exactly, and
you will be
it
the
is
best
not a
facilitator. It's
very
not only for me, for anybody
a
else
speedy
as well.
process that can take place.
Yes.
It's a very slow process that you've gone through, and then you reach till here. And to be a facilitator is amazing because there is a need
Yes.
for students to get clarity in whatever they do. So now that you have talked about your contribution, for those students who are watching or listening to this podcast, what can they exactly expect if they are taking up a course with Game?
It's a very good. Thanks for asking this question. For example, if you see earlier, when I go back to my school days, we didn't have much of net or internet or something. We have to go to the library, sit and browse and do everything. But now students are, in fact, there is a difficult time for students also, if you ask me. At that time, I was asked to do a MBA, or I was asked to do a go for IIT or Indian Institute of Sciences, something like that was guidance, and we had just three, four things. But now, students are enamored by many things across the globe. by parents, friends, relatives, blogs, you name it. But the data is so huge, data is humongous. If they come to game, we, the subject matter is going to be the same. For example, whether you take it in IIM or you take it in SP Jain or a Great Lakes or any other college, the subjects are going to be the same, the course is going to be the same, but the way in which it is taught and the way in which it is taught by whom and how it to be implemented makes a difference. Yeah. And for example, if you ask me why B schools or anybody goes towards a CAT or a GMAT exam is, it makes you to understand the student what is the tenacity that he has to work for long hours in the sense focused working thing. That is what GMAT or CAT exam makes you to prepare. And then in a complex world, when you get into the corporate world, when there is a project work which comes with 40, 50 pages, whether the student has the capacity to glance through or read through and pick the major bullet points out of that to give a strategy or action out. That is what B school does according to me, or that is what we want to do in game for the B school students who join or whoever wants to join. It can be in terms of supply chain or analytics or banking career, or you name learn to learn. We have a course called as learn to learn, and we are coming out with a course called as appreciation of life. I will come to that when we discuss. So in this angle, what it makes to study the same subjects, but how differently he is going to be trained, and we will ensure that he is business ready the day he comes out of the campus of game. And if I remember, Professor Santanam was my professor who took me to the guide as a the day one we joined. They took us as a guide to Laila College, yeah, and he told me one thing: Laila College is like a golden knife. Whether you use it to cut an apple and eat, or you cut yourself, it's up to you. So game will be a platform, and we want to be a diamond or a platinum knife for them to utilize it in the best possible extent. And to put it in a nutshell, we want to give academic with practical experience and practical exposure, which will make them to be business ready from the day one they come out of the campus.
Wow, that's game for you. So students who want to be
Yes,
business ready, and I think you have to take up
yes.
courses with game. And as we talk a lot about game, I'm also intrigued in asking you, whom do you consider your biggest competitor, and how do you think you can differentiate yourself from
It's
them?
like David versus Goliath now, if you ask me. You have the IAMs of the world, Baiju's of the world, or you have
Yes.
Coursera's and everything. But one practical experience which I have gained personally for 24 years with the intent to facilitate a student. All said and done, technology will be there. All said and done, you'll have the best of the profs. But the intent and the way which you weigh a path for the student's career, I'm sure that nobody can match us with the way in which we have groomed. And
Yeah.
from the corporate world to academics, my interaction has been with almost 8 years with 8 batches coming out of the institution where I worked earlier, and the amount of students that we have touched lives, like for past 20 years, that essence of knowledge is the giving me the confidence that we can be a differentiator. And another thing, if you look in world class education at affordable cost, which for people to figure it out, it will be very tough. But we have figured out that, and that is the USP for us going to be the pedigree of professors who are going to teach. And you have ex CEO of HCL Healthcare, Rangarajan Iyengar, who is from IIT and IIM Lucknow. So, and then you have profs, people from who has been a CHRO for group of 30 companies, who is going to teach HR. So, like that, this pedigree of people with expertise and thing are going to teach you at affordable cost, and that is going to be the game changer, and that is going to be the difference what we want to give. Plethora of offerings where people can read it at their affordable cost and affordable time.
And that is the need of the
Yes,
hour, in fact, at affordable cost, and technology is something that
yes,
everybody are looking for. And it clearly, your answer clearly displays the amount of groundwork that has been
yes.
done for game. Along those lines, where do you see game in the next 5 years, or how are you going to sustain or develop your business?
See, as I told you, we are now, COVID is an impediment for us. There are two things if I have to look in. COVID is a positive way for us to streamline our online setup. And it's an impediment also because we are not able to go outside. First, we want to work with corporates. We want corporates to recognize us first. If corporates recognize, students will be aware of it because we are not going for a uh, other recognitions which is needed for a so-called recognitions which students look out. So we are looking at a route of corporates recognizing us, making a difference to careers of students with certification programs and other finishing school work, and then working with faculty. If we do it for consistently for 2 to 3 years, we would have touched hundreds and thousands of faculty, corporates, and students as well. So, if we are going to start a regular batch of B school students, which we are aiming at 23, we might start with a 100 students batch and it will progress. And then uh, uh, these 2 years will be developing the brand and reaching out as many as people for next 2 years. And then 23 we'll start our own B school. And by 24, 25 we will have established the B school. And by 25 end we'll be on online education, and there we'll be touching around 500
Yes.
to 1000 students to start with. So if you look in the next 5 years, we would have touched easily around 3000 to 4000 students plus many corporates and many employees and many faculty. And once at the time we would have, by God's grace and the plans as if we are looking at, we would have touched a revenue of 50 crores. That is the strategy which we have adopted. And once we reach that at 6 to 7th year, then it's going on a fractal growth or a geometrical progression growth, if you ask me. So that is the aim we are having it, and more so since we are practitioners in progress and top research professors, we are up to date on what's happening. Let it be in any program, let it be any subject. So since we are working with corporates and as well as parallelly with academics, we'll know what is needed and what is needed for future. If you ask me, why suddenly you are looking universities which are giving social arts and sciences with management education, because in future people are going to have more time, and that is the time they don't know what to do. If you ask me, if 10 years 15 years down the line, or it can be even now itself, there are corporates which are working only for it for 6 days a week, 5 days a week, and there is a corporate in Chennai which works only for 4 days a week, and 3 days in a week is holiday. So what is going to happen? So people are going to have a lot of time, and so that is the reason why we have come out with a course called as appreciation life, or something called as connecting the dots, which is towards learning agility and social agility. So we are very unique and we know what's happening and what is it needed. As we are specialists in analytics also, we can be predictive and prescriptive in whatever the students need. So we are well defined strategies there, and we are implementing step by step, and we are seeing some small success as well.
I can see a well-defined analysis that has been made, a very strong strategy that has been laid down. So all that is very much visible from the conversation that we
Thank you.
had. And then I agree with you. And that was very exciting and a very lit conversation with you, sir. And agree with that. Brings us to the end of the first segment. And the next part of the podcast is going to be more about you. Maybe I could say your initial days in your career
Sure.
and more. So, this segment we talk about more of Professor Sridhar. So,
Oh.
sir, my question to you: did you have a vision for yourself even as a student? And also, do you think the next generation, as they start off with their career, should they be clear with their professional goals even as a very young person?
Very tough question, but it's a very good question. Whereas one of my favorite subjects has been doing goal setting, vision, and mission as exercise, even for corporate achievers or corporates or even students as well. If I have to say, if you ask me if I had a vision or, but I had a searching mind in my school days, from school days onwards. Like, let it be dabbling to get into cricket or chess or a carom in the sports side, whichever was affordable at home for my parents, or getting into literary activities, trying to be a public speaker in terms of the Tamil oratorical competitions, or I was an average student, but average student with high discipline, hard work. If you name it, nobody can match it. But I was average student because You just study whatever is needed to clear your decent percentages and avoid your father's scolding. I was doing like that. But when I joined college, and then the sense of responsibility or real when you're getting into transitioning into life, then I decided that I should not depend on anybody for my corporate job. That was my immediate requirement at that time, and which I ensured in college. At that time, there was no campus recruitment law, but Laila gave us that opportunity, or we had that opportunity. And amongst 500 students, three students were selected, if I'm correct, across different colleges competing for a pharmaceutical job as a territory manager. But if you ask me, the search is still on and search was on, but I wanted to ensure that first vision was to ensure that I get into admission thanks to my father, my dad, and the other principals at that time who gave me admission to Laila. I should thank them very much. If not for them, we would not have been exposed. That is what I'm trying to say. And next one is, but if you look in the various things as a chemistry student I did, for example, I was the only student who took comparative economic systems as an elective from chemistry to economics, there was a platform available and I took that call on my own because I was sure that I wanted to be in business for a period of time into a corporate world. And then from young days, from NCC to NSS, I was a senior project leader recognized at a college level, to Damsharad's team to Tamil oratorical, because everybody's flair was to get into English oratorical thing, but I took Tamil oratorical thing. That's where I came to Stella Maris as a student to compete in the competitions as well, if I recollect. Yeah. So, like that, if you ask me, the search was on continuously in the 3 years of my college or before that as well to take care of my studies, but at the same time, I ensure that I get groomed myself. And I have done in 93, 94, 95, New Year for me was just working in a departmental store or a store in Adayar where we used to sell electric cooker warmers as a salesperson because that used to give you a revenue of say 1,000 per day. In those days, it was huge amount. So I used to get money to 3,000 to 4,000 rupees. Or competing in TV serials, not serials, I should say, that competitions which will GK competitions or something you'll compete, you'll get prize money.
Yes.
So the search was on academic and what to do in life. That was there, very much there. But once I joined, and then it helped me to, all these things helped me to get selected in that Eli Lilly Pharma company at that time in 96. And that paved the way for a big career and then exposed to the world across the trainings, going across the world or anything in my career. It all started from there. But in 98, when I was in post, then from Lilly, I moved on to Hindustan Lever. But when I was posted in Hindustan Lever, one thing changed my mindset. I was thinking corporate life is best and everything. But there is Krishnagiri is a district, and it's one of the backward districts in Tamil Nadu. I was posted there it's a tough, in the sense, you get such a big territory for a young guy. So I had a lot of opportunity to explore and do a lot of hard work. And there is a village called as Kaveri Pattinam. And in that this story should be listened to everybody. Why I'm telling is, in that town, I was like a young Turk working for MNC, people respecting me like anything from the politicians to you name it. I'm saying when I was just 25 because if you are a part of a Hindustan Lever as a community, like that position gives you to access to a lot of people. So I was thinking I've made a mark and I'm just working. It was very small if I look at now, but the thought was I got into a job and many haven't got a job also. That was the mindset I had. And that too in the topmost company in the India at that time.
Yeah.
But there was one small shop like a pawn outlet or what we call it as a small outlet which is 10 by 10 or something. Very unassuming personality, but he used to do crores of sales from sitting in that village, exporting mangoes from that Kaveripatnam village to somewhere in north. And when the vehicle goes there, from there he will bring in something needed here. But sitting in this small place, he was like a visionary for me. I don't know whether he had a formal education or anything, but when such a person with a small outlet is able to do this thing, then my real question started asking what I am doing in my life. But at the same time, there are a lot of responsibilities to handle in the personal side, and so I had to continue my journey. And I moved on from FMCG to lubricants to then banking opened up. and thinking that banking will help me to earn more money so that I can get into my entrepreneurship. But it has taken almost from 96 to 2022, sorry, 2021 to start my entrepreneurial journey. So the search was on continuously. Then I had to take a call sometime other. It's a risk. Again, still it's a risk because I started in peak of COVID. We never expected COVID is going to come. Or I thought it will be easy. I have left a very lucrative job, very responsible, very respectful job as a professor, as a director, as one of the key members of the institution, and very comfortable life. I have left that and come to get into this, reach my vision of being an entrepreneur. Yeah, this is the personal side of it. And at the same time, uh, people are seeing a lot of quick wins now. Like people think valuation, people think, but let them understand what is reality first. Let them be prepared to go and get in. For example, I was hearing to one of the CEOs of Coca-Cola, president of Coca-Cola, Mr. Krishna Kumar, and I heard his talk once, and he was saying, like being a president of Coca-Cola at India is a very huge thing and very good to know. It's very tough to reach because I've been in levers and I know how much strain it takes to be continuously work in a company like that and grow also. He made one word. When he has come to this level at president level of a one of the MNCs which is looked upon by anybody, he said, "My life has been a penance." So that much effort, that much focus, that much sincerity should get into your work, whatever you do. If you're a student, are you putting in your right efforts to be that class topper first, then the department topper, then you go in to become a college topper or a university topper? But are you doing your duty at that moment to do? That should be the vision for that basic thing. First, what is your primary responsibility to do to satisfy your parents and satisfy yourself and satisfy your college? That should be the first vision if you ask me. Once you have done that groundwork, then people will start respecting you and they'll start supporting you. Then by the time you start expanding your vision. If not, I had done my career of last 20 years, my family will not have allowed me to start this entrepreneurship, but still it is tough. People are going and advising me, you have been one of the most comfortable jobs of a professor, of a director, or whatever you call, and well recognized in the uh, so-called selected management industry. And but I had done my duty, taking care of my family, taking care of my sister's marriage, or taking care of my mom, anything. So now they can't say no. But I knew that if I don't take a call now, by next 5 years my daughters too will be in college level or something, and that time I'll not. It will be still difficult for me to take a risk. So it has taken a calculated work of 20 years to take a risk to get into a venture. So in that angle, whatever is the primary duty you are supposed to do at that time, do that. Once experience comes in, people start respecting your decision and they'll be starting to, and they will start working towards your vision. But have you done your first duty is my question, which every student should think of.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my answer again. It's a long answer, but I'm just sharing my
No, no,
experiences to that.
absolutely, and anything is not easy, as you say. It requires a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifice. And if I have to continue and ask you a similar question in those lines, I see there's a lot of sacrifice from your end. There's a lot of experience in various industries, from being a chemistry graduate to shifting to economics and then BFSI and lubricants. So there is a lot of things that you have explored, I see. So amidst being a facilitator, professor, advisor, how do you get to balance your time with your family and work? So how do you balance it?
It's a very tough question now. The family is supporting a lot in that, planning my time and supporting me in whatever I do. If not for that support, you can't do it. That is one thing. But at the same time, start prioritizing what is needed and what is not needed. And if your goal is to, if we have to take game to the next level, I am now building the steps. Whatever I have to reach in next 6 months, I'm doing the groundwork now. For example, let it be Zoom meetings, let it be like from morning. Uh, Basically, now I'm trying to fine tune my basic work in the morning, like say 6 to 9 o'clock. I finish my whatever personal work I have to do in terms of writing mails to everybody or responding to mails so that I have a focused work. I do that at 6 to 9 basically. And then start working, interacting with others, people, and all. That's why you would have seen my mail late night or early morning if I would have responded. That is the reason behind it. And so in the daytime, it goes with meetings and being part of a lot of conferences or something like that. So we are trying to build a brand. But if you ask me, I have tried out my time balance in a notepad to scribbling pad to notebook to so big whatever the vinyl boards you have. Finally, I have landed over in this notebook with from which I picked it from my daughter because at the end, go back to basics, write down your schedule and start tick marking it. In that angle, it's a very tough because I have to double up as a front office person or a CEO or a founder or a professor because I have to take classes, I have to attend conferences and all. We have added some 2 3 members team, but still, and some interns students are interning with us, so that's a good learning which we want to give, and we are happy if students are willing to be part of our internship in terms of digital marketing. I'm happy to welcome students from Stella Maris or visual communication students or marketing or anything. We are ready to absorb, and they'll get the best of the learning. Like in fact, it started with 2 students, and we have some 10 students from Bombay to Chennai working. In fact, my other friends and colleagues are saying, no, Sridhar, they have to work with you. That is the push they are giving me. And we are happy about that because we are trying to teach them and we are taking the support as well. But sorry to come back to your question of time management, prioritizing and what is it needed for that. I am doing it, and I would like to recollect a personal interaction which I had. Goes back to 2012 or 13 when I shifted from corporate to academics. And that time it was a convocation, and I was interacting with the present chairman, Mr. N. Chandra, who was the Tata chairman, but at that time he was the CEO of TCS. And that was the time when TCS was promoting that or supporting the Boston Marathon and all, where tough times were also there in marathon. And at that time, he had met Jack Welch and he had come in to India. He had come after that meeting in US. He had come to India and he had come to our convocation. And surprisingly, it happened in such a way that I, myself, and he and his colleague were only 3 people in a room for half an hour. And at that time, he told one thing. I just asked him, what was that you interacted with Welch? And he said 3 words. He said, this is what Jack Welch told me: be present, be present, be present. That is, Mr. Jack Welch told Mr. N. Chandra at that time. What does it mean? Be in the present situation and be in the present and work towards that. Don't worry about the past and don't worry about the future. And if you're fine tuning this, you will certainly manage your time.
Yeah. I think we talk a lot about managing time and prioritizing and how our work-life balance is, we shouldn't compromise. I think when we talk about all of that, it gets down to managing our
And
time. And I'm very glad that
sorry to
your
interrupt.
daughter is helping you out in that her book. Yes, yes, sir.
Sorry to interrupt. Another thing in time management, important thing is what you
Yes,
are chasing your goal determines your time management. For me as a kid, I wanted to watch cricket instead of studying. Or now, my intention is to be in business than watching anything. For example, if you ask me, I don't know what is the news happening outside India or world. I just only during the breaks I look at the news or snapshot news or snippets news in mobile. If not, no movies or anything. It is the priority which makes you to start your time management as well. I'm not saying you should be a workaholic. I tend to spend more quality time with my kids than I was earlier, because even if I spend half an hour, 1 hour with them, I'm focused with my kids and spend time with them. When I interact with my parent, mom or wife or my father-in-law, it's focused. So what I'm coming to say is determine what you want to do. Once you have defined it, then time management will be in place. It will be prioritizing your personal life, but you can't ignore your personal life at any cost, because as a father, I might be I'll do it well as a business person, but if I'm ignoring and if my kids are not up to the mark what I'm thinking of, then I'm missing out on that action. So you can't ignore your personal life of father as a role or a mother as a role or anything, but defining your career or defining the present moment and working towards that will determine prioritizing the time, because this is my experience of last 1 hour. I'm putting it across to you now.
yes, yes, yes. And that was amazing, sir. I'm sure it took a lot of time and effort and sacrifice and to become a leader you are today. Maybe you had had to parent each and every aspect until you succeeded. And to be a leader is not easy as one assumes to be, I guess. So that is what I get from the conversation that I have had from you. And moving right along, we have the final segment for today. We have a small rapid fire segment, just five quick questions to you, and you can just give me a one word answer as well. So it is all absolutely up to you. So, my first question to you, sir, describe yourself in three words.
Hardworking in a smart way.
Okay, perfect. Wow. What is the compliment that you receive the most from your peers?
Unassuming personality.
Uh, According to you, which is more important, skill or knowledge?
It's a tough question to answer. If you ask me, both is needed, but at present conditions, I will say skill.
Perfect. So, what is your stress buster?
Work.
Work. Oh, so work is your stress buster. Well, I did not expect that. That is a very effective stress buster, I guess. All right. Your unforgettable memory of your college days?
Wow, it's many, but being supportive to a person, I have made some difference in one person's career. That is the unforgettable moment, and still that person follows me. Yeah.
Oh, all right. That's amazing. Okay. And we've almost come to the end of an amazing conversation with you, Professor Sridhar. And one final question to you. We know the world is changing faster than ever. It's fueled by technology, connectivity, and a never ending demand for more, better, faster, and the convergence of those demands on the next generation, especially, I should say. So, having said that, what do you have to say to the younger generation? It could be an advice, a tip, something for their professional progress.
It will be a bit long answer, but it's a very important question you have asked. As a
All
student,
right.
you'll be distracted a
Yes,
lot,
sir.
and you'll start getting lot of powers because technology is going to be in your hands. And if you're being a student of a excellent college like or a very good college, whatever I say, like Stella Maris, I'm sure you are good. Getting into college itself, you would have made a difference. You are an achiever according to me, because I feel the same as a highlight. And then when you're going up the career, you will have a lot of power. If you ask me, in last 24 years of work, the amount of money that I could have made, the amount of shortcuts that I could have made, I would have been much bigger person. But that is not going to give a peaceful sleep to you. When power comes with responsibility, according to me, it will be tough, but follow the tough path than easy path to achieve your goals, which is very critical because technology, knowledge, and access is very much available now when compared with the days I started my career. And it can be in the purse of money power, political power, anything. At that time, please be grounded and stick to your moral values or whatever your parents or teachers or professors have stated. Because even if you are trying to be good, people will not allow you to be good because they want to earn shortcuts. This is very much visible. This is very much happening across my career from 96 to now till I say. But it's a tough path. But once you reach and benchmark yourself, people will not even come and speak to you on a negative thing. People will not try to reach out to you. So create a brand for yourself, create an aura for yourself, and create a definition for yourself. And on the, it's like a very thin line. If you cross this, that's it. You will not be able to get back. It's a very thin line where you should be grounded. You will learn knowledge, you will technology, you will come up sometime, if not at 30 years or 25 years, you may start at a 50 years and you will become one of the biggest billionaires. But this one basic groundness is very important in critical life. Be focused and be grounded and stick to the righteous path. This is my input if I have to say.
Thank you, sir, because I'm very glad that I asked you this question because we spoke about your professional path, your struggles, but here in the last question, I think you also touched upon values system that we have to be focused on as well. So that was a very informative session. We had a lot of takeaway, I should say, and it was you know networking that is a game changer, and the leader that you are today. It was undeniably a very informative conversation. Once again, thank you so much, sir, for joining with us today. We look forward to collaborate with you in as many ways possible. Thank you so much,
Thanks a
sir.
lot. Thanks a lot to Sister Principal and all the professors, Dr. Renuka, Dr. Lima, and you as well. Thanks to you. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you so
thank you.
much, sir. Okay. That brings us to the end of episode 2. Thank you, dear audience, for joining us. We hope to see you again with many such wonderful conversations with great personalities. Subscribe to our channel for further episode of SMC Comcast, Quest and Connect, an initiative by the Department of Commerce Shift to Stella Management.